because I've been in them places. And like I said earlier, my overwhelming memory of all that is the noise. If you can hear one loom running somewhere, imagine that 100, 150 times. And it was incredible. No wonder that they were deaf and the lip read. I've seen them lip reading in mills and hand signing, and they knew what they meant. It was amazing. But there were a lot were deaf. I've spoke to people since then when I'm out and about. If I'm out and about, anybody said, "Oh, I will leave it." "Oh, you're wrong, were you?" "Oh, I thought, oh, no. Why she mentioned it?" And she said, "So many friends are deaf."
Yourself think. You couldn't have a conversation with anybody unless you went outside. I'm surprised I'm not deaf. I'm surprised I'm not deaf. I'm surprised I'm not deaf. I'm surprised I'm not deaf.
I mean, we used to go to a mill on a Saturday morning and nobody was working. We just had the run of the mill. there was a boiler room, and that fascinated me. The boiler man, I used to know the boiler man. There was the boiler, then there was all this coal, and I used to go and play on this coal. If you went over the coal, there was a trap door, and you could climb out onto the riverbank. We just had the run of the mill. We just had the run of the mill. We just had the run of the mill.
We had to go in a dark room with a projector, put the little square, whether it was 12-inch or 6-inch square, onto the projector, project it onto a wall which had point paper, which was probably about 4 foot by 4 foot, or maybe 5 foot by 5 foot. It was huge. So basically you're looking at a huge sheet of fabric that's magnified a million times with these little tiny pics. The design was projected onto the point paper. Then you had to draw it onto the point paper. Then once you've got that worked out, that it repeated on the point paper, because often the projector would be a little bit wobbly. So there was a lot of rubbing out and working out whether this end would connect to that end, or the top would connect to the bottom. Once you got it right, then came the tricky bit. Then came the tricky bit. Then came the tricky bit. So it was a rose. You've got petals that interconnect. So it was a rose. You've got petals that interconnect. Each petal had to interconnect with the next weave with a sort of mathematical formula. And it was heartbreaking to do. Paisleys, big roses, quite flamboyant designs, which I loved. Got petals that interconnect to look like one without any dominating elements to it. Got petals that interconnect to look like one without any dominating elements to it. Got petals that interconnect to look like one without any dominating elements to it. To look like one without any dominating elements to it.
I found out that people who were working same job, and when we work overtime, they used to get more than me. When I went to see my personal officer, I said, Mrs. Amin, I'm treated very roughly. She was very upset. I said, look, if you don't sort it out, I will go to race relation. And she said, no, don't go there. I said, I'm not coming to work. So the next day, I didn't go to work. And she came around to the house I was living. She said, we decided you will get the same money.
Night shift manager. I never forget that gentleman. He always running all the night. Every department. Checking the people. Checking the people. Big strike. Big strike. We are not your servants. We are not your servants. Big strike. Big strike. We are not your servants. We are not your servants. Don't need this manager. Don't need this manager. Don't need this manager. Don't need this manager.
But there were a mill that I can remember a mill burning down. It was burning for days. It went up like a tinderbox because of all the oil. It were a bit horrendous because you were thinking that the whole town was going to go up. It was burning for days. It was burning for days.
waiting.